We're back with Volume 3 of the Bicycle Card Deck Collection. It's an underrated everyday item, especially when traveling. And just like any other gear, why not make it personal to you? So here's 6 more decks that I liked. Oh, and big thanks to the guys at tntmagic.com. These decks came from their site, so check it out after the video. And a couple of these I could only find on their site. At number 1, let's go back in time with the Turn of the Century Automobile Edition. The box features an aged parchment look to fit that historical theme, with a man you probably recognize by the last name. The cards carry the same look, and I love the Jokers and the Ace of Spades. The normal cards use a stylized font and suit design, but they're otherwise pretty standard. But the standout for this deck are the face cards, which feature people that shaped the automobile industry over time. And some of them are obvious based on the name, like these ones, while others I had to look up. So we have some American engineers, some German engineers, and Florence Lawrence, who, other than having a really cool name, invented the first turn signals and brake signals. Or we have Dorothy Levitt, a race car driver. I always appreciate these type of card decks which have some sort of facts on them. And the card backs look like this, mixing in some money green, probably representing the multi-billion-dollar industry the automobile sector would become. And this deck is part of the Turn of the Century set, the others being the telephone deck and the electricity deck. At number 2, we skip forward a few decades to the 60s and 70s with the Peace and Love deck. Right away, the box is an eye-catcher, with the design wrapping around the entire box. This deck has a title card, and the Jokers are also pretty cool. The Ace of Spades is also awesome and sets the stage for the cards themselves, which feature a flowery design in each one. And the standard black cards swap in a dark purple color instead for some extra pop. But yet again, the face cards steal the show and are one of my favorites amongst these 6 decks. They're popping with color and flower design, and some of them feature an item like glasses or peace necklace or some earrings. And here are the card backs, which match the box. Overall, it's a really solid deck, especially for anyone who grew up during that era. At number 3, we jump centuries into the future with the Cybershock deck. The box has mechanical 3D elements of a spade and that neon violet and teal coloring that reminds me of the Blade Runner movies. So this deck is way different than what I usually prefer for a collection deck because they have that end-to-end art design instead of the traditional bordering found on most of Bicycle's cards. But that's what makes them so cool. The Jokers are some mechanical bugs, and the 4 aces are definitely a standout, with 3D mechanical renditions of each suit. Super cool. And the aces are the only 4 cards with this darker design and pink font. The normal cards are set in white and gray, with dots to represent the numbers. And the face cards have the violet and teal look with white font and some robotic villains for each. Unfortunately, these same 3 designs are used on all 4 suits, and I do kind of wish that they created different designs for each. And the card backs match the box and do have a bordered design, but I think this is a bit of a miss. They should have just ditched the borders and kept the end-to-end artwork just for consistency. At number 4, we have my favorite deck of this video, the Spectrum deck. And if you haven't seen this deck, you're in for a surprise. Inside, we have 2 Jokers and the cards themselves, which look exactly like a standard Bicycle deck. But these cards are actually in a very specific order. See? Now it looks like there's no rhyme or reason to the order until you do this. And now it's clear why it's called the Spectrum deck. The order keeps the rainbow colors intact and it looks amazing. There are a lot of decks that are more suited for displaying, but this Spectrum deck is really nice, but it's also one that I actually carry with me to play with, because I prefer more standard looking cards when I'm actually using them. To me, this Spectrum deck represents what I'm trying to showcase in these videos. If you want some crazy art design like the Cybershock deck, go for it. But sometimes, just a small variation to the standard Bicycle deck is perfect. At number 5, we go from a world of color to monochrome with the Blackout Grid, which has the coolest box of the bunch. It's a mix of matte and glossy black with silver foil. And a custom silver seal. Just by looking at the box, I already knew these cards were going to be pretty cool. I've featured a few Blackout decks in the past, and have a few more in my collection still to show, and this is as good as any of them. Opening up, I also like the detail of silver foil on the inside of the box. Inside we have a title card, which it's empty because it's Blackout, and we have 2 jokers and the ace of spades, and here, I really wish the ace of spades was better. The suit design is cool, but I don't see the need for putting the bicycle text here. The cards themselves are great, with a futuristic design in monochromatic colors. The standard black cards are turned to gray, and the standard red cards are white. And I love the futuristic suit design. And the best part of these is that they glow under blacklight, which is super cool. And I think the face cards are the strength of this deck. This is negative coloring done correctly. They look very clean, with a good mix of gray and white to give the cards some depth. And of course, under blacklight, it looks even cooler. And finally, at number 6, we have the Conflict deck. So the previous 5 decks had a very obvious theme after looking at the box, but I personally enjoy decks like this, where you can't really guess the design direction unless you open it up and look closer. So here's the box. Still no clue what the theme is, right? Opening it up, these jokers are awesome because you can put them together and it reveals the theme. The conflict refers to the battle between the cards. And this is also seen in the face cards, which feature a very stylized design, and you'll notice that each person is stabbing the person below them. And I'm really digging these face cards for the design and theme, but also the color blocking. They are beige colored cards that use dark and faded green lines with some red on the red cards. And it might be hard to see in video, but this bottom guy is bluish green, while the top one is more of a darker forest green. And they put so much detail in these face cards, it's just instantly an eye catcher. The normal cards all have a sword and similar faded backing, but I do wish the font was slightly more readable. I don't know if I'd ever play with these, but if I did, it'd be kind of hard to distinguish between the numbers if I'm looking at them quickly. And here are the card backs, a mix of beige, black, and gold. Just a really elegant looking deck, and maybe the most detailed amongst these 6. And there you have it. So which one was your favorite? Here's the links to volumes 1 and 2 in case you missed it, and stay tuned because I have more card decks to showcase. And please check out TNT Magic, as a big thanks to Ron and Tom, who help support this channel. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, comment below if you want a response, and subscribe for more everyday gear reviews. Thanks!